These are 5 signs you're closer to burnout than you think. The truth is that burnout ends dreams and goals more permanently than failure ever will. Most people think burnout looks like a dramatic collapse or complete exhaustion or a mental breakdown or a health crisis. But those are the final stages. Real burnout starts months and oftentimes years before you hit that wall. The question we're going to look at today is, are you headed for a total breakdown right now? If you're new here, my name is Jared, and I'm a high school teacher turned leadership coach. After my own burnout in 2017, I've spent years proactively preventing burnout, not just in myself, but in the leaders I coach. With that said, let's dive in. Here's the first sign you're closer to burnout than you think. You feel like you're constantly giving, but you have nothing left to give. Author Pete Scazzero puts it perfectly when he says, much of burnout is a result of giving what we do not possess. We see this everywhere. The leader who's answering emails at 11 p.m. because they have to. The parent who's snapping at their kids because they're running on fumes. The business owner who's working weekends because no one else can do it. But here's what's happening. You're not being productive. You're being destructive. When you give what you don't possess, you're not just hurting yourself. You're hurting everyone around you because what you're giving isn't your best. It's your leftovers. So if you're constantly feeling drained, that's your first warning sign. But passion for your work might actually make burnout worse, which leads us to sign number 2. You are passionate, but suffering. Here's where it gets tricky. You might think, I can't be burning out. I love what I do. But Michael Hyatt goes over a really shocking statistic when he says 20% of employees reported both high engagement and high burnout. They were passionate about their work, but they were suffering from it too. This is the most dangerous type of burnout because it's invisible. You're engaged, you care deeply, you're getting results, but underneath, you're slowly destroying yourself. Passion without boundaries is not sustainable. It's combustible. Just because you care does not mean you're not burning out. Sometimes it means you are on the path to burnout faster. I learned this the hard way when I was teaching. The more I cared for my students, the more burden I felt for them, the more difficult my work became. I felt like I had an actual responsibility to help end the suffering in their lives, and I soon lost my passion for teaching. Caring deeply can actually accelerate your burnout instead of protecting you. But when you're really in trouble, you stop caring altogether, which leads us to sign number 3. You are more cynical. You stop feeling joy in the things that used to energize you. You've stopped feeling excitement about new opportunities. You've stopped enjoying your work. Michael Hyatt says, when our personal lives suffer because of overwork, our work suffers too, or will eventually. Worst of all, burnout breeds cynicism. Cynicism is your soul's way of protecting itself. When you can't handle any more disappointment, any more pressure, any more demands, your brain shuts down your ability to hope or to dream or to feel excited about anything. You start thinking things like, what's the point? Or nothing I do matters anyway. You become detached from your vision, from your purpose, from the reasons you started doing what you're doing in the first place. I knew I was cynical professionally when I stopped checking in on other people to see how they were doing. I remember making a statement to my wife saying, I'm not going to be checking in to ask how my students were doing because I couldn't handle whatever they said. It took a few years for me to realize, but that was the moment that my heart was totally shut down. What's scary about this is that it doesn't happen overnight. It's really like a slow fade, a gradual decline. You don't wake up one day completely cynical. It creeps in day by day until suddenly you realize you don't care about things you used to be passionate about. When emotional numbness becomes your soul's protection mechanism, your mind starts shutting down, but your body won't stay silent, which leads us to sign number 4. Your body is screaming at you. It's trying to help get your attention and you're ignoring it. Author Mark Sisson puts it this way: when you chronically overproduce cortisol due to incessant high levels of stress, including sugar crash urgencies, chronic training patterns, insufficient sleep, hectic daily schedules, or difficult personal or work relationships, you are headed towards the unique modern affliction of burnout. You see, your body is designed to handle short bursts of stress, not chronic, unrelenting pressure. But when you ignore the signals, the fatigue, the headaches, the trouble sleeping, the constant tension, you're essentially telling your body to keep running on empty. Maybe you're wired at night, but exhausted in the morning. Maybe you're getting sick more often. Maybe you're relying on caffeine to function and alcohol to wind down. Maybe you're having trouble concentrating or making decisions. These are not signs of weakness. These are warning lights on your dashboard. And if you keep driving with them flashing, eventually something is going to break down completely. I ignored my body's warning signs for months. I had intense pain that I just kept working through. I convinced myself I didn't have to deal with it at the time, but eventually I couldn't stand it anymore. I ended up having multiple surgeries to address the issue, countless doctor's visits, and I was literally forced to stop. My body made the decision for me because I wouldn't listen to it. Quoting again from Michael Hyatt, he says, "When we ignore its signals and play longer or work more, we create unnecessary stress, and that stress contributes to depression, fatigue, weight gain, high blood pressure, and a lot worse." Your body sends warning signals that something is seriously wrong, but when you ignore them far too long, you disconnect from what matters most. Which leads us to sign number 5. You have lost your vision. You're going through the motions, but you can't remember why any of it matters. Quoting Michael Hyatt here, he says, "Vision deficit leaders are prone to quitting the field early. Same with their burned out employees." When you lose sight of your purpose, when you cannot see the bigger picture anymore, when everything feels like busy work, that's not just fatigue, that's burnout. When you're in this place, everything feels heavy like a wet blanket. Every task feels pointless. Every meeting feels like a waste of time. You start wondering if you should just quit, if you should walk away, if you made a mistake somewhere along the way. And like I said, this is what happened to me early on in my career. I was working as a teacher, but I lost all of my passion. I had lost connection to my mission, to the impact I wanted to make, to the reasons I got into teaching in the first place. What helped me reconnect to my vision and purpose was totally shifting roles and then taking a break from the intensity of that season. Eventually, I started doing basic self-care things I needed, like sleep, rest, having boundaries. When I look back at that season, I don't look back with intense criticism necessarily. I just realize I made a series of mistakes without an awareness. I pushed too hard for too long without protecting what matters most. But the good news for me and for you is that it's never too late to change. If you want a super practical video so you can start preventing burnout today, then check out this video right over here where I share 9 practical shifts that help me lead well without burning out. If you want to dive a little more deeply into why all leaders burn out and what's going on beneath the surface, then check out this video right over here. Whatever you choose, I'll see you in one of these videos.